G'day guys, my name's Josh. You can call me Woodle, and welcome back to 7 Days to Die in Alpha 18, where I've come back to Woodle Park 2 to do some more building and testing, because we've kind of started to stumble across something very useful. In not the last episode, the episode before I think it was, we were experimenting with the steep wedge tips, rotated them to get the steepest angle possible, which just completely confuses the zombies. We've used that kind of idea before for several different things, one of which is right there. We can use it for killing corridors, we can use it for zombie slides. There's lots of different ways to do it, but we stumbled across a way to turn something that we want to be zombie proof to be actually zombie proof, to really just spaghettify the zombie brains and make it so they have no way of actually getting in there and causing you any sort of harm. So I've got some ideas today that I want to go and test, because I reckon there's other ways we can implement that and get it working for us even more than it already is. But before I head out into the big, wide, scary open world, I need to head out of the MVP tower, down into the Hall of Legends, oh shit, and see who is on the board today, who has been put up into the hall forever and ever. And today we are thanking River Sticks, Mocha Bear, and Midget Fidget. So thank you three, and thank you everyone else, and all the people in MVP Tower over there for all of your wonderful support and making it so all of this can be a possibility. Alright, where are we going to build? So what I want to do today is get this kind of idea here. So we kind of stumbled across, we were building other things, we stumbled across that we can use these wedge tips to make ourselves a zombie-proof wall. An honest-to-goodness zombie-proof wall. The zombies don't know how to deal with this. They try and jump on it. They try and run around it. The long and short of it is they cannot get inside there. So I want to know, can I take this idea, completely flip it on its head, invert it, put it into the ground, and see if we can make an actual easier zombie pit? Kind of like this one, kind of like the Sarlacc pit over there. I've done a few different versions of it. I want to know if we can get them down there and keep them down there so that we can just toy with them, play with our food before we end up killing them. Actually, you know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to do a round of zombie skee ball. It's been a little while since I did this, and people have been asking why I don't do it anymore. It's just because I've been doing other stuff, you know? Alright, put you in there. Chelsea's there, ready to go. Let's load up the chamber with a bunch of grenades. All but one. Let's go a full stack of 25. There we go. Alright, pull the pin. No, that's not pulling the pin, you idiot. Take that. Pull the pin, there you go, drop the grenade in. Alright, come on, Charles, give me a score, get on the board at least. Oh, she's gone high and left. Clipped the side of the board and slid down over near Zombie Plinko. So she could have potentially got a 5, but not quite. Alright, we'll do that again another day. It's been a long time since I had a crack at Zombie Skee Ball. But I'm trying to think of where I'm actually going to build this. Oh, there's a streamer just chilling out here. Get rid of you. Maybe I should build it out here. Just extend like the flat area out to here a little bit. I want to keep this little ravine here kind of like normal and default, how it kind of spawned in when it started, because of the underground entrance to my missile base underneath. So I don't want to mess with this area too much. Right here, I want to keep this thoroughfare 3. This is the thing you got to think about. This is like city planning in Woodle Park. Or maybe I'll just go over here. This is like a nice kind of area. Free up some more space over here. This should be fine. I'm thinking for today's adventures, I might use flagstone instead of stainless steel or wood, because that's the easiest way to get the wedge tip block. So like you have to get the table saw through a wooden wedge tips, which is really annoying. It's really the only block you need the table saw for. But making out of flagstone is way easier. So I might just go with the flagstone for now. I'll also need the normal wedges if they're in here somewhere. Let's just make this a bit easier for me. Flagstone wedge. There we go. Grab you too. Okay, so I've got our default blocks to start with. And all I'm going to do to kind of test this to start is just go down a little bit and make myself a pit just like this, but line it with the steep wedges. So I want to see if I can put some zombies in there, whether they would get confused and scared and just kind of run around in circles. Unlike with this, I tried to make an invisible zombie cage. It worked, but I had to give them a fuzzy ball to play with. If I can do it without having to give them a ball to play with, then I think that might be a better option. I'm just going to start with something pretty basic. It's a 10 by 10 square, but 4 deep. And because it's 4 deep, whenever you're using these steep wedges, you've got to make it 4 blocks tall as kind of like a minimum. You can kind of get away with 3, but 4 is definitely the way to go if you want to make sure that you're going to keep yourself safe. And because it's 4 tall, I'm just going to use wood frames just to fill in the cavity 2 blocks tall, but only 1 block wide down the bottom. Because this is what I'm going to attach the wedge tips to. So you can see like this. If I go like this and go on face, then I get the right angle just like that. I can get the same rotation on the normal wedges, and that's going to give me the ability to go all the way up to the surface without having to compromise the angle at all. So you can kind of rest it all on the wood frames like that. That should keep the zombies nice and satisfied. They can slide down here, come into their little pen down here, and not be able to get out ever again. I can get out should I fall in nice and easily. I can run up this all day long, but the zombies don't manage to do that. So I'm going to build that all the way around, get some corner tips, which is nice and easy with the flagstone as well. You can make them just in your inventory with like 4 cobblestone rocks that you get out of the blue pallets. That's one of them there. So it's very, very easy to start using flagstone, which is why I think it's probably a better material than wood is. Just the last couple of blocks going into the corners, and we are all good. And just like that, you've got yourself a nice little zombie pit. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to use myself to be bait for this. I could build like a big L frame up like that and kind of sit myself up the top, just like I did here. It's probably not such a bad idea, given how they think they always go for altitude before they go for latitude. So you can stand up here, and they will all try and get underneath you before they try to do anything else. But I am kind of concerned about the fact that I'm dropping them down, whereas that one was them just trying to get underneath me. So I don't know, maybe I'll give that a test and see how it goes. But before I do that, I need to get myself some iron sheets, which are super cheap to make and super useful, because you can use these, if I get advanced rotation, and put it flat on the ground like that, just to cover up that unsightly little chasm there that's always left. Just because of the way that the blocks work in 7 days, they're not like squares, or most aren't squares unless it's an actual like constructed frame or square block. But like the terrain blocks are all like these like octagon things, which leave you these unsightly, disgusting little like ridges everywhere. So you got to cover all them up with the sheets just to make it look a nice bit smoother. Make sure all your aesthetics all line up. It doesn't look too hideous. There we go, just like that. You can paint them to be whatever you want, but look at that. It's now nice and smooth getting over the top. I'm gonna have to put a couple of extra frames over here just to level out the ground underneath there, like that. There we go, perfect. So to just give this a cheeky bit of a test, I've just built myself a big L frame up the top here, and built myself using like those half corner blocks, which actually, if you want to make yourself cabinets, so if you can't find out how to get that block, it's the same shape as like those corner cabinets. If you can get yourself some of those, you can make yourself a nice little peephole down here to drop grenades or molotovs or whatever you want down onto the zombies down below, assuming of course they do actually go down there down below. Oh, you can also fall through it yourself, so try not to do that. All right, I'm gonna stand right next to that. Let's get ourselves a couple of Chelseas just to see how this goes. So I just want to see if they're going to try and run to me like that, because that's one way to lure them in if I'm just using myself as the base. Let's get their attention like that, turn their AI on, which by the way is the asterisk above the numpad. All right, so they've gone in easy as you like. Now I just need to see if they can get out again. And just as I thought, they are absolutely not getting anywhere out of that. They are stuck in there forever. The only way they can kind of do damage to the walls is if they get stuck on each other. They might take a swing to try and kill the other zombie in front, which they sometimes do. But I mean, so far so good. I mean, straight off the bat, this is working better than the force field cage did. This is like a genuine cage. It's now just a genuine killing pit. They can stay down here as long as they like, and I can just take my time, pick off one by one, throw some grenades, do whatever I want, throw a Molotov if I want to, but they aren't going anywhere. All right, well, let's just leave them there. Let's get ourselves some more little playmates for them. How about we get some spider zombies? People were asking me why I didn't test the spider zombies in the other one, and that's because the spider zombies have the same AI unless they can jump and land next to you. So they can't jump up there and land next to me up there. They can't jump that high. And they just go straight in as well. No worries at all. The only other thing that I need to quickly mention is demolishers. Now, demolishers act the same as every other zombie until you shoot their button. They don't explode until you shoot their button, especially when they get close to you like this. So you can add some demolishers into here with no real worries. Demolisher, there we go, a couple of zombie demolitions. And the only reason I don't really put these into my regular tests is because if something does go wrong when I'm testing it, they'll explode and destroy the thing I'm actually trying to test. So unless I'm confident they're not going to explode, I don't really put them in. But as you can tell, they just go down there. There's no worries at all. No one's forgetting about me. They're all just chilling out down the bottom. No whackers, big knackers. That works perfectly the first attempt. That works so well. I might at some point go back over to the underground base here, the Sarlacc pit, and retrofit the floor over here to use one of those instead of using the invisible force field over here, because that's just way more reliable than this one's going to be. All I'd have to do is get rid of the pillar underneath and like all the arrow slots on top and build in those steep wedge tips around the outside. So when they fall all the way down here, they'll get stuck down the bottom in the center of the pit here. It'll remove the chance of them tunneling through the walls over here and doing any sort of damage. But I'll make that a little bit more secure and a little bit nicer, I think. And that was all super cheap. I mean, sure, 10 by 10 by 4 is a fair amount of blocks, I suppose. You're not filling it up, you're just kind of making the shell around the outside of it. But a couple of wood frames on the inside as well. So really not much to ask to build something like that. That's just that effective. The hardest part here is building a frame over the top to lure them in. So that means I think there's probably going to be a better way to do that. So I might get rid of all of this and try and see if I can use a different method. Maybe I'll incorporate one of the tombstones into this. Like make myself like a pit and then make a tombstone in the middle. Although that gives me an even better idea again. Oh, I don't know. I'll build a tombstone first and see where we end up with that. But this is opening up so many doors for other possibilities. So I've increased the area of my little cage here by 1 block in 2 directions. So I've made it an an odd 11 blocks across on all sides. Because we all know if you want your symmetricality to work in 7S Die, you have to build everything in odd numbers. If you're building evens, nothing is going to line up. You need a dedicated center block for all of this. I'm going to go around and put all my wood frames back. I've really just enlarged it just a little bit. I mean, not too much. It's still gonna be a relatively small and compact build, which is what I kind of like to do. Unless it's a special build like the underground bunker over there or the missile base kind of thing, I usually try and build something that's small and compact and could be relatively easily done by one person within a week. None of these like massive 4-week build things. I mean, some of them, sure, to make them look nice can take a long time to do, but if you can't build a decent horde base in 1 week, then it's not really going to serve you very well if you happen to die or if one bad horde does destroy the base you already set up. So you need to be able to build something relatively quickly that's relatively effective without taking too much time or resource, which is what this kind of stuff is all about. Now I know it's cheesy, but who doesn't love cheese? Sometimes you got to play the game when the game's trying to play you. The pit has been extended out and it now has a lovely little column rising out of the middle. I guess Chelsea must have walked past with her skirt just a little bit higher than usual because this thing has definitely got a bit more excited and now it's got something to show for it. That's all just flagstone. Sure, I've painted some things to make it look a little nicer, but it's just flagstone from top to bottom. And all I'm going to do on this is just do what I did over there and build some more steep ramps down the bottom. So like that and go all the way around just like that and get ourselves a way to keep the zombies off just for now. I'm not going to build the slightly bigger one because it'll take up almost the whole area down here and then we'll end up with just like a trench around here. But that's an idea for a little later. I want to see if there's just a way to, like, for me to stand in the middle of this thing and look down and destroy all the zombies who are nearby without being in any real danger myself. Is that the right way? No, it's not. I need to get you rotated the right way, please. On face, spin you around. There we go, just like that. All the way around like that. Now we know this kind of works. Doesn't work exceptionally well, but I want to see if at least the idea works here. If I can keep myself safe in the middle while also being close enough to just eviscerate all the zombies who come close to me, then I feel like I'm going to stand a better chance of surviving. Alright, just like that. Nothing special there. Let's get ourselves a couple of Chelseas. Just see, that's the wrong button, to see how they react to this. Cheerleader, some ferals, get her attention, and her AI on. Alright, can't Chelsea. What are you going to do now? You have to come to me. You have to come into the pit. You already don't like it now. Alright, so you're trying to come up that way, which is no good. We're going to slide down there. They seem to get confused between trying to run up that way to get back to my altitude. That's kind of what I was hoping for. They're trying to get back to the same level as me before they come to me. So they're trying to go out that way and then make their way to me. Some of them are coming up the middle, and that's fine. But you could sit here with a bow or molotovs, whatever you wanted, and just have easy pickings all the way around. I do want to see, though, if I get a spider zombie in here. Now that, like, it's kind of possible they could jump to me, I want to see if they react a little differently than they did before. Alright, come on, how are you gonna go? Yep, you tried to make the jump. You couldn't quite land next to me though because it's only a 1x1 block. You could make this smaller if you really wanted to kind of make sure you were safe there. But because they can't jump and land next to me, they aren't gonna serve me any sort of issues either. Alright, this is looking pretty bonza. This is looking pretty Richard Ditch. Happy with that, actually. I wasn't expecting very much. Oh, hang on a second. Just as I was getting excited, Chelsea's got herself stuck on a corner and decided to start wailing on shit. Oh, look, and she found a weakness and was able to come over as well. As soon as there's a weakness in the system, they'll all come find it, but she eventually gave up and ran away. Ooh, maybe not quite 100% Bonza, though. This is a bunny snag without the onion. It's pretty good, but it's not quite there. She did a little bit of damage, but not too much. I mean, this is still a new flagstone, so it's relatively weak. Oh, I missed the shot. So they will take a little bit of damage if a zombie does start swinging. I mean, my shots from killing the zombies is also doing some damage, so it's not especially strong, but it's doing most of the job reasonably well. So I feel feel like the next step to this is just to expand this out as I normally would, kind of go to the next stage of the design and see what happens if I go to like a proper tombstone. That should mean that there wouldn't be any sort of issues with the zombie AI at all, and I can be safe as houses up on top of my little schlong up here. Just go like that. So I've built this before, nothing special here. If you don't know how to build this, there's a video, a couple of videos ago that will explain it all too. Nice and simple, just using the steep wedges, just completely bricks the AI. But if I send them down here, that means they're nice and close to me for me to kill whoever I see fit. Look at that, nice and simple. So it rises up to the same level as the ground out here, so the zombies get a nice good look at me, get tempted, run into here, and all I've done now is just give it a bit of a paint job. I really like the look of the red against, what's it called, the metal plate wall. I think that gives it a nice kind of industrial feel to it, like a real like mechanized kind of killing area. I really quite like it. So let's get that going. Let's get a couple of Chelsea, let's get some spiders, because why not? We know how they deal with stuff. Let's get some cheerleaders as well. Come on, Chelsea. Everyone's invited to get murdered in my little pit over here. The spiders should take a jump at me. Yep, miss it, slide back down. They're all down there. So we're using a technique we've already used over there, making this tombstone that is invulnerable to zombies, and put them in a pit that is also invulnerable to zombies. So the spiders can't jump out, they can't get out to me, they just jump around like a bunch of Muppets, but we're keeping them all nice and close to me. But this means that my next idea should probably work, because I want to know, can I dig myself a moat? It's always going to be interesting in 7 days that you have drawbridges and stuff like that, and clearly against a foe that doesn't have any range to it, you're going to go back to like your ancient kind of defenses, your castles, your thick walls, that kind of stuff. So they give you all the stuff that's clearly a moat would be a great kind of defense, but then the way the zombies work, moats are a terrible defense. They can swim through water, still damage in water, they don't die in water, or they start tunneling. So if you build a moat around your base and think you're going to be safe, you're in for some bad news bears. But now with this, I reckon if I just expand this idea, you know, just take this, make it bigger, and like spread it around something, make the area I'm standing on a much bigger, I reckon I can turn this into a genuine moat that is actually going to work pretty well for us. In fact, even, can I go like this? Let's get out of that, let's get my frames back. I want to know, how wide actually is this thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 blocks wide. You know what else is 5 blocks wide? A bloody drawbridge. So I could get a drawbridge and bang this on any side over here. In fact, I can't do it because these things are here. Let's get rid of those just for the moment. Grab you and just put you right where you need to be. Can you go in the right spot, please? I always hate placing these things. Oh, yeah, close enough. Just like that. Well, okay, it's a little bit up in the air, but that's okay. But look, that's the perfect width. It'll bridge the gap nicely, so you can raise that up, open up the moat, and make it what an actual moat is. So all of your enemies fall down into there, then when you want to leave, you can use the drawbridge again. Now, I haven't found much useful uses for the normal drawbridges, because moats very rarely work, but now that I got this, I reckon that's the next one to go. Just like when I made the force field moat back in Alpha 17, I'm going to come over here to this little POI that's just outside of Ringwood Park. Look, you can see the rest of it just over there, so it kind of loads in as I get a little bit closer. So this thing is already here, and it's small enough that it won't be such a massive build. I can quickly knock up a little moat around this, and just see, like, can I turn this into a zombie-proof area? It's small, it's little, but it should hopefully do the job. It's going to keep me safe from the vultures and the spitters and all sorts of nonsense if I'm inside here. Just I have to clear out all the zombies first. But this will be a nice little place to live. Plus, it's got strong walls, which is always a bonus. The Latham hardware actually isn't that bad of a POI to kind of reinforce. But if I'm going to make it good, I'm going to have to make it better. And that means making a moat around the outside of it. So I'm going to clear all this area, make it a little bit more homely, bang up a moat, and see if I can make it just really as zombie-proof and secure as I possibly can. Because Hordes are no joke when you start getting past like day 21. I need to make sure that this tiny little building here is going to stand up to the challenge. All I've done is I've just cleared away all like the shrubbage and all the nonsense from around the building. So I've got a nice clear area to build and use the new terrain tools, which are a little bit janky, but definitely usable to kind of flatten out the terrain out here. Now, even though it's all like humpty-dumpty out here, in the game's mind, it's still flat. So I can kind of fix it up as I go. But I now have enough room here, or even more so out this way, to build a decent moat. I'm just trying to think. I mean, it looks kind of square. No, that side's longer. Okay, so I want to build it from the building in the middle and ignore the balcony. So if this is the longer side, so I need to go... Oh, geez, how am I going to do this, actually? I'm going to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I suppose, once I call it official live. I'm going to build that to be like the outside edge of my moat. Should we get enough space on the inside so I don't accidentally fall in, even though falling in isn't actually that bad because you can just jump way back out again. But seeing I'm such a genuine Muppet, I guarantee you I'll still find a way to kill myself with this. And if I kill myself here, anyone can kill kill myself here. Actually, no, wait. It's the other way around. If I kill myself here, it means no one else will, because I'm just a total spanner that I'll definitely do myself in the dumbest way possible. And everyone else will be like, how the hell did you do that? No one would die that way. Me, I would die that way. This is where it's going to come in handy having a working prototype, because I can figure out how wide I need to dig these trenches just based on this. So if that's the inside edge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so I dig the trench 7, no, not 7, actually that's the outside edge there. So I do 6 across, that should be more than enough for me. It's just back over here. Alright, so from here, that's the inside edge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I make those meet in the corner, then I know if I place my little Z block thing or my Z block thing out there, then I can dig all my trenches much easier by digging down underneath that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. From there all the way down to here, like that, and that should give me one side of my trench, just like that. See, sometimes you just gotta do the like basic math. Just a little bit of math goes a long way, just to make your life just a little bit easier. They put one back, because that's where I need to remember that one. Alright, we'll do the same thing again down there. I think one of the things I like most about this isn't actually that big of a construction project. Yes, it's a fair bit of digging, but it's actually not that much if you think about it. You could do this in less than a day. All you gotta do, like even like especially in sand where it's weaker structural integrity than like dirt or stone, but all of those will work too. Just cut yourself a U around it, separate the main bit in the middle from the walls and the floor, and it will collapse the rest of it. Sure, you won't get all the resources, but you could cut this channel out very quickly without too much worry at all. But now we've got all that kind of dug, now I need to start thinking about actually putting in the moat itself. Now I'm going to go the same kind of thing as I did before, have a 1 block kind of trench in the middle here for the zombies to actually land. I could make it just a regular V, but I want them to have some regular ground to stand on at the bottom to land on, recalculate their AI pathfinding, figure out how to get out of this hole, and just kind of run in circles for a while. So leave a 1 block gap down the middle just to be safe rather than sorry. But before I do that, I need to make sure that I'm actually going to be able to have something to build on, because we cannot build on sand and gravel because it has the structural integrity of a wet cum rag, as we all know. So we can build this kind of scaffolding down the bottom down here all the way around the inside and the outside walls to stick our wedge tips to. Oh, yep, that took quite a while to place all of those wooden frames. That's why it's good you can just use regular wooden frames as scaffolding. They still have reasonable structural integrity, and you don't have to spend all that resources placing all those blocks. If you misplace one, you can just go pick it up again. So being able to use scaffold like that is definitely a good thing. But now I have to do all that again, but twice as many, by going around all over again and placing all the flagstone blocks down. And then probably putting some flagstone blocks just down in the center as well, just to give like a nice kind of floor to it, rather than just the gravel. I mean, sure, gravel and sand will soak up the blood nicer. That's why it goes on the floor of the Colosseum back in the ancient Roman Empire. But just like here, you know, sometimes I just want to be able to see where the zombies are. I don't want them to dig in and throw sand in my eyes, or like have a tiger spring up out of nowhere and gnaw on my neck. So I need to make sure it's a solid floor all the way around here as well, mostly just for aesthetic reasons, but that's just the way I am. Oh, we're almost done. That took a bloody long time. That took longer than a lass takes to get ready for the local bush dwarf. That was a Perk and Wills level endeavor, which is kind of apt given I'm in the desert and there's probably an oak table in this building somewhere in there. Oh, we're finally done. We're finally done with the main part of construction. Now I just need to go through, get my corner pieces, which is that one, and get them all in position, paint them up, put on some sheets around the outside, plus down the bottom down there, and then we're ready to go. I'm pretty sure this will work. I mean, everything here, all the mechanics that we've tested before look like it's true blue, but I just want to know if it's going to work on a bigger scale, because sometimes it throws off the AI a little bit, and we need to know that ahead of time before I start going around and recommending this kind of construction work to all the lads out there. So let's go like that and like that. Get this all nice and rosy peachy goodness. Oh boy, please don't fail me now. This is why, again, this is another great example of why I don't want to test with Demolisher straight off the bat. Because if Demolisher shows up now and fucks up all my shit here, I'm going to be pretty upset because it took me so long to do. And one straight shot from me is going to press his button and he is going to get creamy goodness all over my building and just ruin all my hard work. I do not want that at all. Look at that. That looks perfect. That should stand up against anything I really want to throw at it. Plus, it looks nice. All the paint job is good. Alright, I think we're pretty good to go. But it wouldn't be a true moat without the finishing touch, our drawbridge on the other side. I've extended out the plates just a little bit because that drawbridge lands right where the other ones are. But look at that. We now have a functional drawbridge that serves a purpose and isn't just there as just an elaborate bigger door. It now actually spans a moat that is there to keep the zombies out. So that's probably the most exciting part about all of this for me, finally, the drawbridge has a proper use once again, but we can't really know for sure if this is going to do everything that I want it to do without sending a horde across. Let's put ourselves up the top here. Let's skip ahead. So I think day 6 is the next horde in Gerudo Park. You can't repeat hordes, which is always pretty upsetting. Yes, it is. Let's make sure everyone around me is actually dead, please. There we go. And skip ahead to the horde night. Now, the other bonus with this kind of moat thing, as the rain comes in, it's raining in the desert. It must be a blue moon. It's gonna be a red moon, I suppose. I suppose that's just as rare. Like, I'm not really in this game. But the other really nice thing about this moat is that you can see down into it. You don't need to have an overhang or a cage or anything for you to sit in to be able to see into where the zombies are going to be. You can see everything from up on top of this building or even down next to it. Like, you can be right here, ready to fight the horde, ready to go and see all the Muppets down inside there. So that's probably the most functionally useful part of all this. Keeps the zombies out, makes it easy for you to kill them. Oh, I'm so glad moats are back. Hurry up, Horde Knight. I'm raring to go. I'm keen as a bean for this killing machine. Here we go. Here comes the Horde. In fact, while it's still raining, I want to see if that has an effect on mods. Look, I'm so confident in this, I'm not even watching what the Horde is doing. They're all jumping down into the pit. No worries at all. I mean, sure, cops and stuff I'm setting down here can spit at me. Spiders can jump at me. There's place for them to land next to me, and vultures can come and get me. But I'm not really worried about that right now. I just want to see how the zombies go. All right, while it's still raining, let's throw a couple of mollies down there. Because does the rain put Muppets out? If they're on fire, will they get put out by the rain? Is the rain being here for Horde Night a bad thing? Let's see if they die. Nah, they all died from it. Okay, so they don't get saved by the rain. Some of them with higher health might get put out before the flame actually kills them, but that's okay. But that's all looking very, very useful. They're not hitting the walls. It's still only made out of flagstone. Nothing special down there. I'm going to clear up some of the Muppets down the bottom. They're going to be able to see past the bodies to the ones who are still alive. That's the best thing about the insta-kill pistol, is that it damages entities, not just alive zombies. So you can clear out the bodies after it's done. Okay, here comes the spider zombie. He should jump across, I think. You gonna jump? You gonna jump? Nope, you went straight down into all your friends. You didn't want to be left alone. You had fear of missing out the freaking asshole, so you went and joined all your friends in the pit of death. I mean, that's fine. I don't really mind too much. I threw a couple of Molotovs down there. This is working perfectly. No need to worry at all. I could even just sit. I mean, I don't really have any way inside the house right now. Let's just open this up. Get out of the way, Spikes. There's a Muppet inside. I could just hang out in my brand new house, easy as you like, and just spend the night in here, out of the rain, and let all the Muppets outside just do their thing. They're out there in the pit of death, just doing whatever the zombies do when they can't get out of a hole, and I'm safe as houses in my house. That works perfectly. God, that's a cool shot as well. That's cinematic as balls. I like just floating the camera up in the sky and watching all the zombies come in. Look, they're trying to go, I'm closest to that wall, actually. That kind of makes sense. If I go back in my body and quickly put myself on the other side of the building, that should probably change their pathing, and they'll try and make their way. Yeah, look, they're going to go around to the other side. So they go to whichever is the side closest. When they get there, they can't do anything anyway. And now I just have a pit of XP grinding awesome waiting for me to decide that it's their time to die. I can keep them as basically pets for as long as I want while they're down there, and then should I decide that it's time for me to leave, I can run out my door, go, oh, that's out the wrong way, actually, there's a working door right there, run around here, run over to my drawbridge, and I can just leave. You're not gonna have a motorcycle or a jeep, bang the drawbridge down, and I can leave and go off my next adventure. I don't even have to kill the Horde Knight. They only spawn the next wave of zombies when the first wave dies, so as long as that wave is hanging out down in the basement down there, I can just leave and go off and do whatever I want to do, and no more zombies will spawn during the Horde. So you can really kind of just totally remove any sort of threat the Horde Knight poses very, very quickly with this. Oh, God. And that's why there needs to be spreadable fire in 7 Days to Die. I tweeted about this the other day. If there was spreadable fire in 7 days, having Molotovs in wooden structures would be a massive risk. Like, imagine doing that, whiffing your throw, throwing a Molotov into a wooden structure like that that's like been out in the desert and flammable as the fuzz on the bottom of your peaches. That'll all go up in flames and your base could get ruined very, very quickly. That would be an awesome addition. I'd love it if 7 Days had spreadable fire. But there you go, guys. I reckon that is a raging success. We have moats in 7 Days to Die again. The drawbridges have their actual use back, and that makes me very, very happy. From a base building point of view, I'm super stoked that we get our drawbridges back and we can start using moats again. You could build this as big or as small as you want, I suppose. I chose a small POI, because like, imagine like that took me a long time to build as it was. It'd take you like a full week inside the game to try to build this, I think. But just as is, that works absolutely flaming perfectly if I could get my words right. But I'm going to have to leave that episode there, I think. In fact, I'm not going to pause it. I'm going to let the zombies just do their thing in the pit of death for as long as they damn well please. I'm going to sit up here in the sky and be a happy little camper. So I'll have to come back and experiment more with our brand new discovery. There's some more things I think I can use for it, but I'll have to do that in the next episode because this episode is done. So thank you guys for watching. Most of all, thank you to all the patrons on Patreon who made this episode possible. If y'all liked, make sure to like button down below and subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter. If I don't talk to you there first, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.